Good evening. Happy Monday and welcome to another episode of the Opening Kick. As always, we are happy to have you with us on this Monday. As always, I've got my man, the star of the show, Mr. Gerald Smoke Dixon. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm not the star of the show. I'm just a co-star of the show because you are also a major league player in this. Pettey,
Well,
happy Monday. I have one of my good college friends that stepped over here and hanging out with me. He's on the road recruiting for Alabama A&M, Dennis Alexander, also known as Big D, pride of Westwood High School, Memphis, Tennessee. You know my guys always come and check in on me.
So absolutely, man. I'm sure the Bama fans will be glad to hear that. Give him some of that Bama love. I know you like to spread, Smoke.
No doubt about it. He and Sam Shade and Antonio Carter, right? Alabama A&M. They're going to do a wonderful job. And he's just here. Just stepped in the house. My wife just texted me, said he just got here. So might be a chance I got the big fella at some point. I don't know if he wants to talk or not. I got to ask him.
And
but
go ahead. If he wants to come on, bring him on. We would love to have him. And that's another reminder to the fans out there. If you're not paying attention, man, the action's not just in Tuscaloosa on Saturdays now in the state of Alabama. If you bleed crimson, your crimson blood has now bled out to the other programs in the state. West Alabama has had a resurgence. I mean, it is a full coaching staff of Alabama, former Bama players. Alabama A&M, as Smoke just mentioned. So look, give some love to these other programs because Alabama is now spreading out and infecting and putting that Bama stamp all across the state on these other programs.
In another word, you're trying to say that we run the state of Alabama. Is that what you're saying?
I think in a way, I think I'm saying that Alabama runs that state. With that, run to that like and subscribe button. If you're on Twitter, YouTube, come on over to Bama Standard on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe so you can get all that great Bama content coming to you this week. Man, Smoke, we got a good one for you tonight. Look, like Smoke said, he's got a guest. I actually had surgery today, kind of feeling it a little bit.
Feel the burn.
Feel the burn. So we're going to come at you quick tonight, get in and out, get you a great show, and get it rolling. First thing we're going to talk about is something that caught the attention last week, this SPS, or Star.
You know what, Pettey? I can't let you do this. All right. You got to give the people a limestone.
Oh, do I? I was just going to give a preview, then give the limestone love. Just go ahead and go limestone.
Come on, limestone. You got to get it to them.
Well, man, speaking of, I was out last week, actually ventured into the great state of Alabama and went home to do some work at Limestone, realrockstone.com. I was in Aniana, Alabama, and regardless of how you say it, it is a great place to visit, but mainly great because of Limestone Company. Get your realrockstone.com at Limestone. If you're building that dream home and you've ever wanted that beautiful natural stone, well, now is the time. Like I said, they're located in Aniana, Alabama. They're one of the oldest, most trusted sources in the state. Tell them we sent you using the promo code the Bama Standard and receive 10% off your purchase of stone today. And then when you leave there, get on the phone and go to whitwillsports.com. So after they put that stone and you've sweat putting it up, you've got that title towel to wipe that sweat off.
Wipe him off.
You can wipe that sweat off like a champion with a title towel. Tell them promo code standard, receive 20% off, and you can have that championship title and that beautiful stone today. Thank you for all the sponsors. Like Smoke said, we're coming at you hard. Last week, something that most people probably didn't even know about hit the airwaves.
TV time out real quick, Pat, not to cut you off.
Yeah.
You see, Bevo, you done jumped on here again.
Right? Beat Auburn.
Like you gotta do a little bit of research and understand who really runs that entire rivalry. So Pettey, I apologize for cutting you off.
No,
go ahead and continue on. I gotta address the first time members of the SEC. They're newcomers, but
that's what
had success. So listen, I'll handle it. Go ahead, proceed on.
I don't know if it's a thing, Johnny come lately. I get because Texas looked real good last year, rah. But buddy, you're going. Get your history book out.
Just keep going.
Last week, something I didn't even know existed and has apparently been around since 2003 kind of made headlines when one quarterback in particular in this year's class kind of broke the mold. But I'm going to start it off because most people might not even know. What is the Star Predictor Score? Smoke, do you know what the Star Predictor Score? Did you know what that was prior to last week?
Absolutely not a clue until you educated one Smoke Dixon. So get to it.
Well, I'm going to tell you what it is real quick before we get into it, because, again, it's been out since 2003. I've done fantasy football. I had no idea what it is. Yes, it is a fantasy thing, but there's a reason we're going to call it into question today. The Star Predictor Score was built as a prospect scouting tool aimed at maximizing investment potential while minimizing risk while drafting rookies in fantasy football. It originates from data starting in 2003, and the SPS formula has been applied to every player since then. So 360 quarterbacks. The higher SPS grade indicates the higher probability of fantasy football success. Not football success, but, fantasy football success. But what caught me is when you look at the list of top 10 quarterbacks, while it may be predicting fantasy success, it's actually kind of predicted every one of these dudes has kind of made it, except one's got a questionable because of some off-the-field stuff. But with that said, this is a fantasy football thing, and it's done a pretty damn good job of predicting who's going to be who's going to fare well in the NFL. And I'm gonna start off, Smoke. I'm going to read you the top 10 list of why I'm saying this list from these people who made it up. Oh, and by the way, they have 12 criteria for the quarterback, but you can't find it. It's not for public viewing. That's their secret.
Yeah, that's a reason why they're not making it public, because they're making a lot of money off it.
Well, and apparently they're pretty good at it, because I'm going to name these quarterbacks, and you tell me whether or not they were a boom or bust, Smoke. Number 10 before about a week ago, Russell Wilson. Did he have a pretty good pro career?
Super Bowl winner. Yeah. But
Drew Brees.
He's
go ahead.
Right there on the cusp of maybe Hall of Fame.
Maybe. How do you not? He's arguable.
Yeah.
This one's not arguable for the Hall of Fame. Drew Brees.
Get him in.
Number 8, Josh Allen. See, okay.
I know a little bit something about Josh. Ding, ding, ding.
Number 7, Kyler Murray.
Listen, okay. That's where I hit the brakes a little bit. This is where you still have – it's still out on him. He's still young, and this is when I'm not going to say he's a slam dunk, but the jury's still out on that one. That's the only one I would have a question mark by, but keep going.
And again, he's look, playing out at Arizona. That's a tough place to do it. It's not it's a hard place hard franchise to win.
Yeah, Petty, you know what? We ain't going to make excuses for nobody. We don't make excuses for ourselves. He ain't hit that mark yet.
Number 6, Cam Newton. See,
listen, keep going. That's a tough one. Great one.
This is the one that is also kind of iffy, but off the field stuff derailed it. If you remember what he did prior to the off the field issues, but Deshaun Watson was having a pretty good career in Texas before the
remove the off the field, on the field. He's hit the matrix. He counts.
All right. Number 4, did this guy pan out? A guy named Patrick Mahomes.
Panned out. He hit the matrix. Works.
Number 3, Ben Roethlisberger.
Absolutely. Super Bowl winner. 2-time Super Bowl winner, one of the better quarterbacks do it our era.
Top 3 quarterback in our area. It's arguable. He's up there. Number 2.
Either way we argue it, it's an argument that he's in the top of something, nowhere close to the bottom or middle.
Number 2, and again, this is all fantasy points, but you can't argue where the guy just finished. Jalen Hurts.
Absolutely.
99 ranking.
I think he hits the matrix of a winning football player. He's not win because of play, but he's a win with. And he's won a Super Bowl, been to 2 Super Bowls in the last, 4 years? I think that counts for something.
Got to, right?
Right.
And number 1 with a 99.7 rating until this most recent draft was Lamar Jackson.
Listen, multi-time NFL MVP, one of the top 5 quarterbacks, if you want to say 4, whatever number that you want to talk about. He's one of the top playmakers and the top quarterbacks of our lifetime right now. Young, still doing it at a high clip. Finished second again in the MVP race to Josh Allen. So he could have won it, 2 out of the last 3 years? So, I mean, right now they're batting close to 100. The only one that I said the jury's still out on
is Murray.
And it's not saying that Murray's he's just not a top 10 player. All of those guys at one point were considered as a top 10 or one of the upper echelon quarterbacks during their time, when they were in their prime. We understand where Russell's at right now. Yeah. Once he left Seattle and he made his journey over to Denver, and then he came to Pittsburgh, and now he's on to the Giants. That's kind of put his career down somewhat if you're just a Johnny-come-lately. But if you look at majority of his career, he's played quality football.
Played good football.
Yeah, at a high level.
And look, this is where a lot of folks get squeamish in the arguments, the football purists versus the fantasy football world and how those stats mesh with the reality of a football game playing out. But what you can't argue with is the success rate of the quarterbacks on this list so far. And that's where shit gets crazy, Smoke.
Okay.
There's a quarterback. Now that we've laid all that out, there's a quarterback in this most recent draft that blows every one of these guys, Drew Brees, Josh Allen, Cam Newton, Patrick Mahomes, Ben Roethlisberger, Lamar Jackson, and beat them all and has a perfect score of 100, and that is not the number 1 draft pick, Cam Ward.
So let me guess who it is. Is it Shador?
It's not the guy who was taken after Dylan Gabriel.
Now, let me just take a guess. Is it Jalen Milroe?
It is Jalen Milroe, and no, Bevo, they don't do underclassmen. It's not Arch Manning. Oh, I missed.
No, it's a draft eligible players, Bevo.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
We'll get
to your boy Arch.
We'll get to your fix in a few. Arch is gonna have his day, but let us get our few off. So my question is, when you saw this name on the list, how good did you feel about the way that you just try to present this guy to me in such a way that I rejected it? All right, I rejected it because I thought he was going to be either the 3rd quarterback in the draft, but he was actually the 2nd quarterback taken. And the answer to your question is 1, Jaxon Dart, former Ole Miss Rebel, 1st round draft pick by the New York Giants. Joe Shane and Brian Dable moved up in the draft, traded up in the draft to get him. So, were you surprised when you saw this, and why?
What? Mind blown. Like, surprised? Look, I'm an Ole Miss fan. I've got the helmet of stuff. Rah, rah, hotty toddy, yeah. I'm also, but you know me, Smoke, I'm a realist. I like to be real. I told my daughter before the season, I wasn't sure Jaxon Dart was a 1st-round quarterback. So, to this list to come out that I didn't know existed, but did enough research to realize it's pretty reliable and done a damn good job, for his name to be at the top of names like this, I don't, it's one of those, I don't know if I can, it's hard to believe, to be honest, because again, I love the kid. I think he's going to be great, but I've never seen, we see it every year. And you talked about this. There's always one quarterback whose stock rises and there's always one who falls, but I've never seen one rise quite like this, to the point where we're now talking about this guy being a franchise quarterback at a marquee market in New York. The rise of Jaxon Dart since playing at Ole Miss, and the knocks that came from playing in the Lane Kiffin system, and certain issues he had in games, holding the ball, interceptions, whatnot. I don't know, man. It's just another notch. It's like every week something comes out that kind of catches your attention that you kind of keep pushing back, like, no, he's young. No, well, they've got Russell Wilson. They're not going to throw him in. But then you hear murmurs from guys that Chris Sims, like, guys, he may be the number 1 guy coming out of camp. He's playing better than those guys. And you can't just crap on that type of commentary. No. And then you see this list that, like I said, whether it be fantasy or not, it's got a pretty good track record. And you're like, holy hell, this guy's at the top of it. Yeah. Should we be expecting him to be at this point, should the expectation be for Jaxon Dart to be a damn good NFL quarterback?
If you're going off of this list, you're going to say right on. Heck yeah. But what I would say is I wouldn't push back. But my question and what I would say in terms of fantasy football, a lot of people say, well, it's fantasy. Well, the fantasy portion of it and actually play adds up to statistically, because I'm pretty sure Lamar Jackson's one of the better fantasy quarterbacks, isn't he?
Absolutely. One of the top 2, 3. Yes.
Josh Allen's one of the better fantasy
Absolutely.
quarterbacks.
One of the top 3.
So I won't say there's a direct correlation, but there is a correlation with the top statistical quarterbacks in fantasy football in terms of points, and actually the ones that are playing on the football field. So my question is, why haven't NFL minds and decision makers used this? And if so, what information can they get from it? And I can probably tell you why they haven't used it, from my humble opinion, is because we don't know what his criteria is. We don't know what they're using in this matrix in order to get these scores. And I'm pretty sure they're not going to give their secret sauce in terms of how they've come up with this predictor. So with that said, I got a couple of questions because when you came up with this, automatically my brain started racing. You know, I'm not a nerd.
Yeah.
But I love analytics.
But you are a nerd in that way.
In that way. And I've hired a few nerds along the way to help me decipher and to come up with a forecasting system of whatever matrix that I want to use in terms of getting better football players and just helping build the roster that whatever I was a part of. It was but the Buffalo Bills, if it was with Vanderbilt, with XFL, with the DC Defenders, or with the University of Maryland. My question to you is, what other notable names that fell out of the top 10, give me 5, that you would say, you know what, I don't know how they didn't make it the top 10.
I'm glad you asked that, Smoke, because I went through the list looking, for notable names like that and for some Alabama guys that kind of caught my attention. But the first notable name that falls out is Aaron Rodgers. You know, he coming out of Cal. He was still a first-round draft pick, but he only scored a 79 in this. And I would say that they may have missed on Aaron. Matthew Stafford scored a 66. I don't know what intangibles they were looking on for Matt, but he had.
Well, I can help you with Matthew's intangible that they were looking at. His accuracy was something that he needed to work on coming out of Georgia. That's something that, same with Josh. The accuracy was kind of inconsistent, but there are two of the better quarterbacks in terms of working at that, getting up into the mid to high 60s throughout their career once they left college.
Rookie of the year, and a guy, look, I told you this, Smoke. I was at the Ole Miss LSU game when Jaxon Dart and Jaden Daniels put on probably one of the better SEC football games in the history of it. It was a clinic. And I walked out that night, as much as I love Dart, I thought Jaden Daniels was the guy. And he got a set, and rookie of the year for your Washington Redskins, and he scored a 78.5. So it was a miss on that one as well.
You're showing your age really, really bad, Pettey. You and I used to say the R word.
My bad. The Commander Skins.
All good. There you go again. He's trying to be a funny guy. The Washington Commanders. You know what? That's really surprising to me because I thought in college, he hit on every single matrix that he was looking for. And in terms of just watching the game and seeing him play raw off of tape.
Yeah.
Accurate.
The arm.
Deep ball. Can extend plays. Had the it factor. Now, if they threw in win-loss, now I can say, okay. But we don't know what the true determining factors are. But we do understand that he was the Heisman Trophy winner, and it was very close between he and Caleb Williams, who was the best quarterback in the draft 2 years ago.
Absolutely. I agree. I'm a huge Jake fan. I think that kid's it's the throws he can make and the way he cleaned up what Dart is funny. We talk about Dart and Jaden Daniels. The one fear I had for Daniels was how many hits he took, and he cleaned that up. That's something that Dart might want to pay attention to as well.
You don't show up to the NFL and
try to run them dudes over.
Well, you don't do that either, but in terms of his performance and his play, you don't show up as a rookie quarterback and look like your third-year vet, year one, taking your team on the road to beat the number one team in terms of the Detroit Lions, coming home with that W and pushing the next team to the brink of defeat year one as a rookie. So to me, I think that's one that kind of threw me off a little bit, but like we said, we don't understand. So you got a couple more. I
got a couple more shocking numbers. One, RG3 was an 87 coming out. I think everybody thought that was, and then he broke.
Barring injury. I don't know if we're saying that. I think barring injury, I think Robert Griffin III is still playing at a pretty good level in NFL. Because he did exactly what the C.J. Strouds did. Lamar did as a rookie.
He's Lamar.
His rookie year was better than Lamar.
Yeah.
If you're just looking at just sheer.
I think he's a better passer than Lamar.
Ooh, That's debatable. That's for another day.
That's for another. Well, let's throw this one out there. One that, and this is why I'm going to tell you right here, and why I say Smoke's the star of the show. Well, Smoke got a GM job at some point, and Daniel Pettey didn't. Because when this kid was drafted, I said not only did he go to the perfect spot, because I thought this was going to be the follow up. I thought this guy, based off it, I mean, he broke completion percentages in the SEC prior to Burrow, but I thought Mac Jones was the perfect pick. I thought, man, this is the dream. You're going to New England. This is going to work. And this shows why I'm not a scout. But hey, they had it right. Mac was a 55. They knew coming out that Mac was not going to. They knew something I didn't. So again, these numbers are pretty good.
Oh, Mac and cheese. I think Mac just fell into having being involved in the perfect storm. Players, offensive line, receivers, running back, play caller, Sarkisian. And I think he just hit the perfect storm, and it happened well for Mac. I don't think Mac is a bum by no means, but he's a very low end starter in NFL and a good backup. We all have to have backup on a backup island, and that's what he is. Now, here's my next question to you. You got one more?
No, go for it.
Sleepers on that list.
I don't have many. Jaden Daniels would have to be one at 78.5. One that caught my eye because it was so low would have to be Eli Manning. He scored a 57. You score 57, which is 2 points higher than Mac, and you get 2 Super Bowl MVPs. I would think you got better than what his score was telling you were going to get out of Eli.
Can I ask you a quick one? If you do have this offhand,
I've got 2 more. Yeah, go ahead.
Andrew Luck. Where was he on this radar? Because that's one I thought that was. Everyone wants to use the word can't miss. I thought he was one of the most can't miss products and prospects that came out in the last few years.
That's a good one. Let me see if I can find him real quick. Colin Kaepernick was a 71. That now 2 other. Bryce Young was a 74. And I'm a big proponent that if you watched Bryce Young, everybody wrote him off. He got benched for Big Red last year. He came back with a straight trash offense, other than Chuba Hubbard's pretty good damn running back, and did some good things. I think with T-Mac coming in from Arizona, getting some weapons, I think Bryce could be a sleeper. And look, take the damn injuries away and the fact that he has mashed potatoes for brains, because I love the kid. But Tua was only a 71. And when Tua's healthy, he is an elite NFL quarterback. He makes all the throws.
You know how I feel about Tua.
Yeah.
You know that's my guy. And I'm being biased. But we can't use elite with Tua. For me, I think he's
when healthy.
I think when healthy, he's in that category with the Dak Prescotts of the world. He's in the category with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor's below him, but I think you get all those guys in Jalen Hurts. You get all those guys in a muddle. They're all win with quarterbacks, meaning you got to have good players on the offensive line. You got to have good receivers. Everything has to be right for them to have success. And that's not meaning they're not good football players. They're very good football players. Just whenever they line up against Josh, Joe, Lamar, and Patrick, head to head, they're going to get their head smashed.
I got your Andrew Luck score. He was an 81. So not in the 70s, higher than these guys, so expected, but still probably low considering he was ready-made. He stepped in for Peyton, and let's be real, there wasn't a drop.
Barn injury. Andrew Luck rookie year
was special. Better than Peyton's.
Yeah, and I thought that it was personnel malpractice what happened with Andrew Luck when his time in Indy. They didn't give him any help in terms of protection. They drafted 1 or 2 receivers that was okay, but there was enough around him. And sometimes there are players that you have to protect themselves against themselves. Andrew is one of them. That he played so hard and he took so many hits that it just derailed his career and it shortened it. But man, what a talent. You talk about franchise, for sure franchise, elite player, Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
Is in that category.
Absolutely. And he's going to get forgotten just because, like Bo Jackson, his time was short. We kind of got robbed of a full career. Are these Wonderlic scores? That would be no, because Johnny Manziel got an 88 and our boy Jameis got an 83. So they're definitely not Wonderlic.
Hit the horn. My memory's pretty sure. You said Andrew got a 81.
81.
And Johnny got an 88.
Yeah, so it's definitely not Wonderlic.
It's not Wonderlic. But again,
Jameis got a higher score than Luck.
Well,
of course, Jameis, I thought Jameis had every tool coming out too.
I don't think they're in the same category. So this is not the end all and the be all. But to me, whenever you have tools like this, you can't live there and say this is the end all and be all. But this again would be either confirmation or just a piece that goes into my evaluation points that would help me make the right decision and point me in the right direction. Not the end all and be all, but man, Pettey, this is pretty daggone good info, bro.
I thought, given what it was, and for someone that I'm not going to lie, I kind of crap on those statistics and be in a different world and saying it's a pretty daggone good indicator. And I'm glad like you said, I thought it was good food.
It pays you not to crap in anything other than the toilet. That's all you're telling me.
A few Alabama notables, Derrick Henry. This is like, and Ashton Genty got a 100. He got a perfect score. You want to know what Derrick Henry? You want to guess his score?
Derrick probably got an 81.
69. Y'all F that one up. Najee, 65. Jacobs, 62. Brian Robertson, 44. Boy, they don't like Bama running backs, and all these dudes are getting it done.
Ooh, Pat, you should have. You know what?
They're bad at running back.
Listen, everyone, let's do this. Let's get. You know in Men in Black, when you get that, they got that pin, and they say look into the pin, and you hit that and go, and the light flashes, and you forget everything.
Yeah, forget all that.
Let's start. Let's finish what we had, the 10 notable, really hot names, and let's not go any further.
Let's not besmirch it.
Let's not. But this is a pretty good tool, though.
Yeah, I like it. Other than running backs, obviously, got Mari Cooper right. Got a few comments. Bebo says Christopher Sims will praise anyone. I don't think he praised Major Applewhite in his kicker face mask when he was taking his job.
Dog, Bevo, you got to come with better context. Man.
Yeah, you got to come on, man. Chris Sims was your guy. He took Major Applewhite's kicker face mask job from him. Tough as nails. True smoke. Elway worked out Josh Elway. Yeah, Elway worked out Allen and didn't pick him. Boy, how did Elway miss that?
Listen, not because you're a great quarterback does not mean you're a great quarterback evaluator. That's all. We all missed. We got Tough as nails. We got another good one. Says, was Deshaun Watson better than Trevor Lawrence? No shot. I'm a Deshaun Watson guy.
You think Trevor was better?
No, I think Deshaun. I just said, was Deshaun Watson better than Trevor Lawrence? I said yes.
Yeah,
okay. Deshaun is better than Trevor, in my opinion.
I agree.
I mean, the guy was 3 years or so in the playoffs. Won the AFC South a couple of times. 11-5 record. I mean, they traded away his best target, Nuke Hopkins, and he still did his thing. I mean, other than what he did off the field, and I'm not, by no means am I diminishing what he did or minimizing what he did, because I'm not here to, I'm not in the public court of anything. All I do is talk about what happened on the football field. Yeah, he was in the conversation of top 5 players at the quarterback position. They did get it right.
And in an era where Saban's defense still ruled the day, it hadn't been taken over by the new age of offense and the change of rules. They couldn't stop Deshaun Watson. That was the one puzzle piece that Kirby Smart absolutely just got mauled by. And it wasn't – they had chances to, played them 3 straight years, and it still couldn't stop that kid.
Kirby wasn't the only one.
Yeah, I mean, nobody could.
Pruitt got a taste of it too with Marlowe and Tony not switching it at the end. But again, in college, I thought Deshaun was a problem. NFL was a pretty good quarterback. I mean, he's not ideal for every single system, but the system that he was in with Bill O'Brien.
He made me a believer of Bill O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien and he worked together
very well.
Pettey, you know what? Over the weekend, I usually shoot easy little tweets at you and clip some stuff off on social media. On X, no, I think this was on TikTok. Well, I said, which college boasts the best overall trio at the big three sports? That's football, baseball, basketball. And I said, you know what? Let's have some fun with this. So I said, okay, who are your top schools? And then we started doing some homework on it. First, off the top of your head, you gave me Fresno. And everybody's going to say, oh, why the heck would you say Fresno? Hold up. When you have Aaron Judge for baseball, Derek Carr for football, Paul George for basketball. At one point, Aaron arguably one of the best right-handed hitter right now.
Yeah. One of the biggest names, top 3 names in baseball.
Listen, playoff Paul, you take LeBron James out of the small forward category, he's right in there in terms of basketball player. And Derek Carr, I mean, he had a pretty daggone good career, didn't
he? Look, man, I love his fans when we start going, well, this guy sucks because he was a bad NFL quarterback. You know he was an effing NFL quarterback. You don't suck at football and play one down of NFL quarterback.
In 2016, if Derek Carr does not get injured, the Oakland Raiders have a good shot at playing in the Super Bowl.
I mean, he's a 4,000-yard passer in the NFL.
If you guys don't believe it, just go back and look at that season. What Khalil Mack was doing on defense and what he was doing on offense. That's when they had Crabtree out there running those numbers up. Just go back and just do a little research on that. And that bully offensive line that they had. That year, they were on a heater. And he was in the conversation for MVP. Just got injured, derailed, and kind of fell off.
Tough as nails, hold your place there. We're going to get to it. But look, Smoke, what got my attention mostly, though, was on that list that you sent me was Tennessee and then San Diego State. And this is what really made me dive into it because your initial inclination is, well, Tennessee's going to have the better. Well, when Tennessee doesn't have it, I mean, Lofton, maybe their best basketball player. They don't.
First of all, let's give Tennessee's basketball. For me, what I would say football. You're gonna go with who? Peyton or Reggie White?
Peyton or Reggie.
Okay, 2 Hall of Famers. Baseball, who you got? Todd who?
Who did I have in baseball? It was
I think you had Todd Helton. Didn't you have Todd Helton?
Helton's. Yes. No, Helton's isn't he LSU? Hold on. Let me get this. Hold on. Let me get this shit.
I think Todd is,
No, Todd Walker's LSU. Yes, Todd Helton, Tennessee.
Helton is Tennessee.
Helton's Tennessee.
And for basketball, are we forgetting the great Bernard King?
Yeah, Bernard King. Yeah, he was good. Yeah, that was.
What? Yeah.
So that's not bad. I maybe you should have given Tennessee a little more love. But what got your attention though was when you looked at San Diego State and they start slinging out Marshall Faulk and Steven Strasburg. Problem was, who was their basketball guy?
Were you going Strasburg? What about going the great Tony Gwynn?
Well, I'm a dumbass, so let's just stop right there. Did I? Good God, yeah, Tony Gwynn.
And then in basketball, why don't you go with the great Kawhi Leonard, the Claw?
Okay, so San Diego. How did I miss Kawhi? Okay, the list I pulled up did not have Kawhi, and I did miss Tony.
No, it's okay. So let's talk about
Falk.
Texas. Let's talk about Texas.
Let's talk about Texas. I hear you, Bevo. You sitting over there, and yeah, I get. Is Vince your football player though? Because I didn't have Vince. I had Roger Clemens, and you got to have KD, the assassin, one of the best shooters, 6'10". That dude, the Slim Reaper. But man, I'm not sure I got Vince. Y'all have also got Earl Campbell, and then you got Ricky Williams, who was I didn't see Earl, but I know my football history. I know what he did at Houston. I know what kind of running back he was at Texas. But I also saw Ricky Williams, and man, nobody stopping that dude in college.
You know what, Petty? I got a way. I know you got to get out of here. I'm gonna get a way to shut this whole thing down. Okay, who's number one overall? Big trio. Baseball?
You want my number one?
No, not your number one.
Undoubtedly
the number one. There ain't another school.
Bama fans duck. I'm sorry. We're the king of football. We got all the national titles, but the number one school in big trio history is them daggum Auburn Tigers. We're talking Bo Jackson or Cam Newton for football. Take your Heisman pick.
Hold on, Petty. You got to give me one. Who you got? Got to give me one. Who you want?
Bo.
Okay. I'm gonna go
Cam was the best football player I ever saw.
I'm gonna go Cam. But
okay.
Either way,
I'm going Bo.
We're fighting over two of the best. Okay. Basketball.
Round, mound, or rebound. Barkley.
Okay.
Big Hurt. Damn. And Auburn's
I just want somebody just to find another one.
Find a better trio.
Look,
can Auburn be beat, can Auburn be beat in this debate, guys? I know we're Bama centric here. I know Bevo's bodyguard sees nothing but burnt orange, but I don't think, man, I hate to see. There's a Texas versus Hobby debate. I think I agree with that. I think the debate's Texas Hobby because Kevin, the Slim Reaper, he's up there in that Barkley. I give Auburn the football nod. And baseball, Roger Clemens, Frank Thomas, both Hall of Famers. Woo! Who you think, man? Tell us, chat. Who you got, Smoke? Texas, Auburn.
I'm gonna go with Auburn.
I think I've got to go. I hate to do this, and considering I've got wanted posters of me in Lee County, I think I got to go War Eagle on this one, Smoke.
Well, I ain't gonna say that. I would never say those words, but I'm gonna go with Auburn. Now, here's the crazy thing. Before we run out of here, chat, y'all got an entire week. We'll come back next Monday. Homework assignment, Petty. Come up with y'all best trio.
Yeah, tell us who y'all best trio is. Beat Texas, beat Auburn. Y'all got someone better, do it.
Or you can locate us on X.
I'll find us on the socials.
So, yeah. Like and subscribe. Follow me, my guy, Petty. At Coach GV Dixon.
Ephraim, don't quit us. Okay, Bama fans, don't quit us because we picked Auburn in this.
If you guys got one better, let me know. But I'm gonna roll with that. I'm gonna roll with mine.
Bama was out because of baseball. Dave Magadan was the best I could come up with in baseball. So
Bama don't got a better basketball player than Charles Barkley. Knock it off.
No.
Knock it off.
Who's the closest? Big Game Bob or McDice?
Listen. Bevo, I get it, Durant over Barkley, but can you just flat out say that Frank Thomas was a mother?
Hey, Frank didn't get busted for steroids like Roger did.
Ooh, until the next time. Catch us tomorrow. Hey, the Bama Standard, we got a special guest, the man himself all the way from down under. Jesse Williams going to be coming on the Bama. Don't give me shit. I know what's coming. I see the look. I know I can read your looks when you're giving them to me. Like, because you're going to go into some perverted thing, man.
No, man. No. Hey, the Australian, man, it was a Tasmanian devil, Robert Ory over Barkley. All right, Ephraim.
All right, listen. Let's wrap this up. Ephraim, you off, bro.
Ephraim, you off. Look.
Truth is the truth. Stop it. Find us on social.
Find us on social.
And we'll get to it. But right now, you're off.
Next Monday. Catch us on the opening kick. Tomorrow, we're going to have Jesse Williams come on the Bama Standard. Going to be a great show. Hey, keep this energy going, though. Come and hit us in the social media. Coach GV Dixon on the Twitters. He loves to get fired up on the Twitter machine. And come find us next Monday.
I'll send y'all home if y'all ain't coming with it. Robert Dory over Barkley, knock it off.
Come on.
Listen, all three of those guys were all collegiate Hall of Famers, right? I want to say all three of those guys are going to be Hall of Famers as pros at the place that I'm talking about.
Whoa. Man, Jimmy Clay trying to not let us get out of here. Jimmy Clay with the $20 super chat, Team 29. How about them Alabama Crimson Tide softball girls taking it to the Super Regionals? Got a big matchup next weekend with Oklahoma Sooners. Oklahoma has been the team in softball the last couple of years, if you've been paying attention. So the Tide has a big test in Norman coming up next weekend. But Jimmy Clay, I know you will be there to support Team 29 as they head on, I guess, back to Oklahoma. You go to Oklahoma and play the Super, and then if you win, you get to go back to Oklahoma and play the national championship.
Ephraim, I don't got no time for you, bro. That's bad. That's nasty work. You can't compare Robert Ory to
Look, I get Big Game Bob made shots. He right place, right time. Nobody ever.
Listen, Robert ain't even better than Antonio McDyess.
No, McDyess. That's what. Like I like Rob, but when people talk about it, they remember because he again big game Bob. He made big shots for San Antonio, for Houston, all those years. But I think Antonio McDyess is arguably, to me, he's the best player Bama's ever had.
Yeah, so knock it off. I mean, I get you're probably an old guy. I'm 44 too.
Like, Latrell, I'll give you that one.
Man, stop. Latrell they're not in the conversation.
Just because he gets a little choky.
Nah.
He gets a little choky with Coach.
Listen,
Smoke.
If y'all want to go watch tape,
go watch the tape, Smoke.
Of who?
Of who? Of Ori over Barkley?
It's a waste of my time.
Hey, Jimmy, no, thank you, buddy. Roll Tide, man. We're gonna send those softball girls onto the College World Series. But with that said, man, like I said, it's gonna be a quick one tonight. Got a little, got cut up.
Go rest up, man. You toughed it out tonight, man.
Yeah, I had to soldier through for my man Smoke because look, if there's ever a soldier on that damn Bama team, it was this guy right here. So catch us.
Big D, I'm pulling up. Let's go have some fun. I ain't seen my dog it's been a while. Big D was in my wedding.
Is he there? Is he wanted to stop on and say hey for 2 seconds or no?
Man, Big D downstairs.
Call him up, man. Give the fans a little love so he can tell us what's going on. Again, if you caught us at the beginning show,
he's off right now. Let me see where he's at. He's daggone Dennis.
If you haven't been paying attention, those Alabama pipelines are flooding all throughout the state to West Alabama, Alabama A&M. And we got one that's in the house with Smoke tonight. We're trying to get him up before we get out of here.
Where you at, dude? Are you downstairs? Oh, man. Can you get in this room? Do you know how to get into my office last room?
you got to have like passcodes and stuff?
Yeah, bring it in.
Smoke has
Are you dressed? You about to come on camera? You want to go on camera and say what's up to the people out there in Bama Nation?
Yeah, we don't need
All right, let me get off my earbuds.
I appreciate it. Bevo's bodyguard, you crazy, but we're glad you come up here every Monday, man. Come with us. We know you're excited for art.
I ain't seen my guy in a minute.
So you think they're going to win the baseball? I tell you what, man, your team better start hitting. Y'all are on fire in baseball, but the last few series, the SEC team started catching up.
In the building.
Uh-oh.
Hey, listen, I don't know if he's going to be able to fit in the screen. Let me move this chair out of the way. Just say what's up. Right here, big guy. You got to come all the way over here. And maybe sit down a little
gracious, he takes up the whole screen, Smoke.
You got to go down. See?
What's up, Mr. Alexander?
What's going on?
How you doing, good sir?
Tonight, Petty. We got to go.
Hey, y'all got it. Tell them a good roll tide. Go A&M.
He said, give him a good roll tide.
Roll tide all day, baby. You already know how we do it. Look, I still got it on. It's still here. That's the best ring we got out of all of them right there.
What I was telling Smoke, man, is
go Bulldogs.
Man, Alabama's taking over West Alabama. Got Coach Cocker and all them boys, and now you, Sam Shade, AC Carter, all down at Alabama A&M. It's like Alabama players are taking over all over the state, man.
Oh yeah, man. We ain't playing. Hey,
Petty, you can't take away all my company.
We're gonna get them all, man.
Can't take my company time away.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you coming on. Look, go take care of Smoke. He's. I know he's high needy. We're gonna catch you next week.
I'm a high business guy. Well, I see my people.